Let's get ready to rumble. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hope y'all having a really good day. Today we got an interesting show. Today we got a really interesting show. It's a few things that I want to talk about that is important to growing your business. And it's kind of listen, I often have a battle with a lot of people who are stuck in a filmmaker's mentality, right? They're stuck in a filmmaker's mentality. And what do I say or what do I mean when I say a filmmaker's mentality? They are just stuck to just old ways of thinking, right? A lot of things I do is really about new ways of thinking. One of my greatest, one of my favorite quotes was by Henry Ford, and Henry Ford said, "If I would have asked them what they wanted, if I would have gave them what they wanted, it would have been faster horses or something like that. If I would have asked them what they wanted, they would have asked for faster horses." And he was just in a whole different place as far as business, where he thought about the Model T. He didn't invent the car, he just found a way to make it cheaper. And being from Detroit is something that's always been, a lot of Henry Ford quotes have always been um just upfront. So just looking at things different. I came out with a video not too long ago talking about why I think cell phones will be your pro camera in the future. And a lot of people mentality was, oh, the sensor's too little, or it'll never have a sensor big enough. And I'm like, I don't honestly think the size of the sensor is going to matter in the next 5 years. I think that they're going to find a way to overcome that objection. Like, I think you're looking at tomorrow's problems with today's technology. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, you ever go back and look at like Star Trek, and it was supposed to be in the future, but they didn't get a lot of things right because they thought with technology that they had at the time. You know what I mean? Like, um, or you go back and look at some of the old stuff that was supposed to be like in the future, and they still had like tube televisions, or they were using like projectors instead of flat screens, instead of images that were as thin as paper. Like, people just didn't. I look at filmmaking like that, or filmmakers like that sometimes, because I think a lot of people don't. They're not open-minded enough to think outside of the parameters that are already set by technology. And I think that as humans, um, we continue to push that envelope. I mean, who would have ever thought we would fly, let alone fly as reliably and as comfortably as we currently do? Like, it's something that's just like, who would have ever thought of that? Like, that's you know what I mean? And it's something that we don't even think about. The internet is something that is like, who would have ever thought of that? And it's something we don't think about. Our kids grow up in the internet as if it's always been here. And if you're old enough to remember a world without the internet, and now you're getting older in a world of the internet, it's just amazing. Um, to go from not getting in cars with strangers to getting in cars with strangers, and it's called Uber. So I think that a lot of people, and they need to read the book End of Jobs. I think a lot of people um aren't thinking big enough when it comes to what's coming next. I think that iPhones have they're in, they have the intelligence to probably take a sensor that's the size of your thumbnail and take 1,000 pictures a second at different exposures, and then collapse those images together and give you a freaking 50 stops of dynamic range image. Like, that stuff like that is, I think technology will take us to the next step. And I say that to lead to this. When it comes to being a content creator over a filmmaker, you have to have a nice variety of things in your back pocket. Yeah, it's going from Encyclopedia Britannica to the internet. What a change! Yeah, you have to have you have to be able to have a lot of things in your back pocket. And I tell people, in my method of working is not to focus on the camera as much as you focus on the customer, the client, and what you can do for their business. Focusing on the camera is not the way to go anymore. Focusing on being just a filmmaker is not the way to go anymore. Focusing on what type of multimedia your client needs is is more valuable than just being able to work the gear, right? It's just more valuable, period. Um, and you know, you'll see changes in industries like Uber, for example. It's not more valuable to have a fleet of cars and to have cab drivers. It's not That's not where the value is. The value is in connecting people to people who need a ride, connecting people who need to make some money to people who need a ride. That middleman is where the value is, moving forward. When it comes to creating content or being a content creator, the value has shifted from being just commercials and doing all this high-end video and image quality to your ability to get the attention of people who are on social media, who are scrolling, who are doing whatever in their busy life on their cell phone. It's gone from, there used to be a time where the goal was to have this magnificent, high quality, cinema level, huge, image, and now it's a image that's shrunken and compressed on your phone. Like it has shifted. And again, um Hollywood used to require more Hollywood used to require more videographers, filmmakers than the business world. But the business world now requires more content creators than Hollywood. Going straight to DVD or VHS used to be a bad thing. But look at what Netflix is doing. They spent more money than Hollywood combined to create things that's going straight to streaming or DVD or VHS. So things are changing, whether people like it or not. Those who will be successful are those who understand where things are going and they're not trying to perfect where things were. So I meet a lot of people, especially the camera industry is such a traditional industry that some people are having a hard time conforming to what's coming. Like it's just hard for people, right? That's why a great example is the company Kodak, who had the game on lock. They had everything covered and they were just too stubborn to change. I went into Sears the other day and I was like, y'all not gonna be here for long, fam. Y'all not gonna be around for long. And I don't understand how there's not somebody at Sears that don't walk into Walmart and get it. I don't understand how a person who's at the top of running Sears or a JC Penney's don't walk in a Target and get it. Don't walk in a Home Depot and get it. They got an old school mentality of we're gonna ride this thing out. We're gonna ride it out and it'll be back. Unfortunately, being from Detroit, I was surrounded with a lot of people who felt that way. The car industry is gonna be back. Detroit is gonna be back. That's not necessarily the case. Like you have to find a different way to maneuver. And in this industry, you have to evolve. You have to evolve, or you will die. Evolve or die. And people who think the camera industry is not the same as the IT, the computer industry, you're going to go away. You're not going to make it. So, what do I always say? Go to Craigslist.com or go to Facebook Marketplace if you want to evolve a little bit. Write up something cute, take some dope pictures of your gear, post it for sale. So the point that I'm trying to prove with this long rant is again not what to think, but how to think, right? Your people who want to spend money, who see value, who want something that's reassuringly expensive, something that works, who wants a return on their investment, wants to spend it with a company that understands where things are going because your client does not. So if y'all both stuck in 1989, you can't sell them nothing. They don't want to buy your VCR. They got one. However, if you're in 2021 because you realize where things are going, because you wasn't stuck on being this artistic filmmaker that needs this, that, and the other to produce the best whatever, and you can look at what works, you will be more successful. A good friend of mine, Madeline, used a term where she says, stop the scroll. Your job is to stop the scroll. What she mean by that is to create content on social media that stops people from scrolling. You get people attention. That is your job. If you are successful at just that one thing, you will be wealthy beyond belief. If you can stop the scroll and stop people from scrolling and doing other things and get people's attention, you will be wealthy beyond belief. Period. That if you can do that, you will be successful. If you can do that for others, you will take over the world, because companies are they're looking for a way to stop the scroll, to get your attention, to talk about their product, to sell their product, to push their product, to advertise. So, as a content creator, that is our focus. Over creating beautiful images that people say, "Oh, that's cute." That's not making them buy nothing. Your ability to to get people's attention, to have people move in a way you want them to move is priceless. Your ability to take great pictures is not. Now, using your ability to create content to stop the scroll is where you should be working out every day. It's a muscle that you should be learning to strengthen if you're not doing so. Because I can take a below average videographer, I can go to a client, I can pitch to that client, I can understand what that client needs help with, I can create the project and put a below average videographer on that shoot, and we'll still have the same results, because it's not about just the image anymore. So it's something that you have to understand. And the reason why I'm on this tangent talking about podcasts, because podcast is another format that can help a business grow. It can do two things. One, for you, it can create a subscription-based customer. Two, it can have a client or a customer build a fan base that will continue to grow. Three, the way I usually pitch it is we do video podcasts, so we can be on YouTube. We can remove that audio and go and create the podcast. Now the client is getting a 2-for-1. They're getting more value. They're in two places instead of one. The way I pitch YouTube is this: very easy for clients that have a regular. One of my clients has a trailer company. They sell trailers. We manage their YouTube channel, because people search on Google and videos rank first. So, hey, company, you can continue to pay thousands of dollars per month to rank on Google, or you can pay, to rank on Google for just that month. When you spend that 10,000 on advertising and it's gone, you don't appear there the second month. Or we can take 6,000 of that, create content monthly that will leave you on Google every month, and we'll just keep adding to how many times you appear on Google. Which one is more relevant? Like, which one would you rather do? Pay 10 grand to be seen for 30 days, or pay 8 grand to create content that lives there forever? So we'll keep compiling your advertising. We'll keep compiling your visibility on both the podcast side of things, that's working my nerves, and the video side of things. So, as a content creator who shoots video, if you shoot any type of video that goes to a recorder or goes to your camera, you can edit podcasts. It's very simple. So let's talk about podcasts, because I got stats, and I'm actually pulling these from the master course, because the master course talks about the importance of podcasts. And these are just some stats. You can write them down if you want, and you can use them to talk to your client who may be like, I don't know nothing about podcasts. Perfect. I'm glad you said that, because a way to help business owners make buying decisions is with stories and stats. Those are your two key things: stories and stats. Here's a story of how I went through it, how I helped the client, how it worked. Here's stats to prove that I'm not BSing you. When you make it make sense like that for a business owner, the business owner will invest in you. If I came to you and said, this camera will bring you, guaranteed bring you 10 more customers a month, and I can prove it, you buy that camera. Now, you buy that camera based on what you made off 10 more customers a month. If you made $1,000 a customer, and that camera, and you make 10, let's say you make 10,000 extra a month off this camera, that's 120,000 a year. I could probably sell you that camera for at least 80,000. At least 80,000. If you knew you were going to make a guaranteed 120, you probably spend 80, maybe as low as half on that camera. So when it comes to, company business owners want to make investments. They want to make investments. Let's talk stats for a minute. Yeah, let's talk stats. Let's talk about podcast stats. I got a few here that you need to know. You need to know. 75% of the US population is familiar with the term podcasting. 75%. That's a lot of people. 50% of all US homes are podcast fans. Think about that. So it is a medium that is getting to 50%, half of Americans. Everybody with a smartphone really has access to a podcast. They just don't know. I have a lot of friends who don't know what the podcast app is, and they scroll past it on their iPhone every day. They don't know. Today's been brought to you by coffee. Hot coffee. That's a good thing. We're in the process of trying to get away from sugar, so we're using honey. When you get old, you got to start looking at stuff like that. Story to record. Eli, say glad to see this topic today because I just added podcast to my Thumbtack. Wonderful. If I should do a DBA on another website for podcast. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna say this because I we've done consulting and I've spoken to you one-on-one. I would offer a podcast version of what you offer, a audio version of what you offer. Maybe have grandma read some books. That's what I would do. Maybe have grandma read books for the kids. That's yeah, but I would definitely do that. Let's talk about some other stats with podcasting. I put that up because I'm starting to get in. Every time I go live, it's funny. People be like, "What's the code?" Then they don't buy nothing, but they blow me up. Okay, so let's talk about it. 55% of the U.S. population listen to podcasts. That's 155 million. These are as of 2018. 41% of monthly podcast listeners have household incomes over $75,000. Think about that. So not only are you're reaching more high-end clients, you're reaching more high-end clients, and it's something that businesses need to know. In fact, those numbers have went up. Those numbers have went up from 2019 to 2020. So over 45% of podcast listeners, 45% have an annual household income of more than $250,000. Think about that. That's high-end clientele. Those are the clients that have the budget you're looking for. Brands that advertise their products and services or businesses on podcasts enjoy an average of 14% rise in that purchase intent. So more people buy when listening on a podcast. Those are things that, imagine shooting for a company and they plug in their own product or they get sponsors. And I'll give you an example. I'm shooting video for a trailer company. If we decide to do a podcast, I would pitch them the idea. They sell a lot of parts for trailers, to have one of those companies become a sponsor. One of their subcontractors can become a sponsor. Think about that. So definitely do that, Eli. Definitely. Story to record is a perfect name for a podcasting company because everybody got a story to record. If you need a guy for the commercial, let me know. So, don't sleep on podcasting. I know there's a lot of you that's sitting there like, I've never done I don't know how do I even, you're editing audio right now on the video that you're editing that's in your Final Cut or wherever it's at. You're editing audio for that video. It's the same thing. It's definitely the same thing. You just have to create a little more graphics. You can get with Parker. I got Parker. Where's Parker information? Let's get Parker on here. If you need graphics for your podcast, contact him. He did the graphics for my podcast. He's great. Does really, really good work. If you've seen the improvement on our thumbnails on the channel, I usually push things in people that I use. If I don't use it, I'm not going to tell you to do it. I don't, because I can't speak on it. I don't want to tell you, go sign up for whatever and it's great. I'm not that guy. If I use it and I think it's dope, I'm gonna tell you about it. And there's some things that I use that I just started using that I won't mention because I need to get a feel for it. Like there's a company that's literally today a service that I pay for that has left a really bad taste in my mouth. Like literally when I get off of this live, I'm going to get somebody on the phone to let them have it. So, yeah. Just create a cool intro for your podcast or series or client and just export it. That is correct. You can export from Final Cut Pro and every other video editing software in MP3. So you can export the audio and go straight to podcast. Another thing is this. If you go with something like Anchor, Anchor is like YouTube for podcasters. It's free. In fact, they'll pay you for marketing and advertising. So you'll get a chance to make money just like you would with ad revenue on YouTube. Something to definitely think about. No problem, Media Smith. I'm just, hey man, you gotta keep it real. I don't like. I love YouTube, but YouTube suffers from what the whole internet suffers from. There are good people and there's bad people. There's people that want to tell you things that can help you, and there's people that's just trying to pull your leg. I hate those. You ever watch those videos on YouTube where a guy do something crazy, like he open up a VCR and inside is like a DVD player. He's like, wow, look at, you know what I'm saying? Like he do something like that. You got people or got kids at home breaking their VCRs or whatever. Like I don't like stuff like that. That's just me. Do you use Sling and the Rollcaster together? So currently I'm using something different. Because I keep the Sling Studio and like ready to go so I can do a shoots because live streams are jumping up right now. So right now I'm just going straight into the computer via um Camlink 4K. And then I'm using the Rollcaster as well because I am recording. But you could definitely do that because the audio out on the Rollcaster can go right into the audio in on the Sling and you can record it. I've done it where I've recorded on the Sling and just literally pulled the final file and pulled the audio off. Silver Paul, yes, Anchor is definitely truth. Anchor is which is owned by Spotify, because you have to realize. Let me tell you something real quick. Let me put my graphics on here because let me tell you something. Get your papers and pencils ready. Okay, listen. There's a war coming. It's going to happen. The war is for podcasting. Because podcasting starting to get into Netflix, Hulu territory. Companies want exclusive podcasts, original content, and they're paying for it. Right now, it's the wild, wild west. I promise you in the next 2 years, it won't be. I promise you that over the course of the next year, and I'm starting to see it happen now, in order for you to listen to certain podcasts, you're going to have to subscribe to certain services. That's why Spotify is running and created Anchor or bought Anchor and want to provide a platform for people to upload podcasts. Now they do distribute everywhere, but if your podcast does well, they will pay you to be exclusive. There is a war that's getting ready to happen between all the Pandoras, all of the, because it's a way to generate revenue. And unlike music that don't have any ads, music don't have ads. It can't make money like that. Podcast has ads. Podcast is way more valuable than music. So what they're trying to do now is all the companies are trying to align and have their own podcast that you will have to subscribe to their service to get or download their app. You may either pay or at least on their app, they can show you 50,000 advertisements or they can sell advertisements. What's dope about Anchor is when you upload audio to Anchor, you can slice it up into 3 parts, right? Or however many parts you want. And between those parts, you can put advertising slots. So your advertising today may not be what it is tomorrow. It may be completely different. You know what I'm saying? It may be something different. So it allows Anchor to play relevant advertising in the middle of a podcast that you download today. So they can always sell advertising in your podcast. So, and it's great. It's better than baking something into a audio file because you can never change it. However, Anchor and other podcasters have found a way to do that. Now, just like YouTube, right? They don't show ads, they don't burn the ads into your video. You know, they don't do that. They pop them on top of or in between your video. Does Anchor shoot your podcast out to iTunes and everywhere? Yes, they distribute it everywhere because they're putting ads into your podcast that they want played everywhere. So they don't want to limit your audience. You know, they want to push your audience as much as possible. So they push it out to most of the major sites. There's a bunch of little sites I've seen as well that I've kicked my podcast out to that, you know, helps. But you got to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about a few other things. About podcasts. That's not what I'm looking for. I want to go back to this. Oh, what? No, let's go to this. So let's talk about a few other things when we go to podcasts and why podcasts will continue to grow, period. Podcasts will continue to grow because it is the only medium that allows you to finish doing whatever the hell you're doing while you listen to it. YouTube, don't. Any other type of media, don't. It's just like music. You can jam out and do whatever. Podcasts, you can be doing laundry, have you a headphone in, and you're good to go. I listen to a lot of Dateline NBCs. I like true crime podcasts. I like Crime Junkie. I like all of those guys. I actually listen to them more than I listen to business podcasts. But when I'm doing laundry, when I'm doing something like that, if I'm on a long drive, I'll listen to a Dateline NBC, and it's just as good as watching it. It's crazy how good it is. In fact, I don't have time to sit and watch one, but I just like listening while I'm in the car. So that is what podcasts give you. There are people listening to this podcast right now. Right now, we're recording a podcast. If you didn't know, there's people listening to this podcast that didn't have time to show up and be here live and see it. They just didn't have time, but they can listen to it through our podcast. So we're up to about 11,000 streams, which is good for a fairly small podcast. Has the population of Joe Rogan's experience and the lockdown attributed to the rise of podcasts? Yes and no. It's always been there. I think he has the top show right now. He's getting a huge check. He's making a ton of money off his podcast, probably more than he makes with the UFC. Pull that up. So it's contributed. I honestly, I'm not crazy about his podcast. It's not on my to listen list. Think about it like this. So Rogan signed a multi-year deal with Spotify. It's worth more than 100 million. Think about that. It was downloaded 200 million times per month and made 30 million last year. So he just signed 100 million off podcasts. Remember when gosh, what's the guy name? What's the guy name that signed with what's the talk? Howard Stern. Remember when Howard Stern got 100 million from satellite radio, and we thought it was just like, wow, dude getting paid. This guy got 100 million off a podcast. So the benefit of a podcast over satellite radio is satellite radio you can only listen to it live that one time. They can only play ads that one time. With Joe Rogan, it's just it's compiling. That's what the beauty of podcasting. If you find a podcast you like, you'll probably binge it. You'll probably go back and listen to it. So now they can play ads on all 50 of them episodes that you went back and listened to over and over again. New ads. Unlike Howard Stern, where you can just listen, you can tune in live and listen to it. I think now they're starting to turn them into podcasts. But a lot of shows are starting to also produce podcasts. I like ESPN. I like PTI. I like Shannon and Skip, things like that. I like The Herd to listen. I don't have time to sit here and watch them. I like to listen to them later. And it's a whole nother revenue stream. It's a whole nother revenue stream. Yep. I need to see that. I need to see that Forbes article. It says a Forbes article, the new Howard Stern podcast, giant Joe Rogan Inc.'s exclusive deal with Spotify. Wow, I didn't even see that. So he probably makes more off his podcast than he does with the UFC. Something to think about. And remember, he was begging guys to help buy the UFC. He may have enough money to buy the UFC himself. Let me post these back up. Nope, not that one. This one. Perfect. So it's something that you got to think about the future of it. And if you are a content creator, you're not late to the party, bro. If you're a content creator, this is a direction you have to go in because this provides a solution for a client. Appreciate it. This provides a solution for a client, and it's something you already know how to do. You talk about multiple streams of income. Well, now you have it. Now you can record podcasts within your niche. Hey, we record podcasts for dentists. Huh? You're a dentist? You don't got a podcast? It's the new thing. What are you talking about? 50% of people who listen to podcasts have a household income of $275,000 a year. You're a dentist, or you're orthodontist. You do braces, right? Why don't you have a podcast? Well, I don't know what I'll talk about. Talk about procedures. Talk about simple things. Talk about things that they can do to help keep their teeth clean or perfect, or after they get braces. Talk about how to clean braces. It's plenty of things you can do with a podcast. Your podcast doesn't need to be 45 minutes long. It can be 3 minutes long. I'm a big fan of news flashes on Amazon. Alexa. I'm not gonna say it because I got 50 of them, and they'll all be screaming. So there's a thing called news brief or news flash, where they usually play about a 30-second audio from different vendors, from different companies, right? They're all podcasts, just a 30-second podcast. Like one of my favorites is Today in History on 1955, blah, 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 blah today. On 1823, blah, blah, blah today. All right, that's it. The next one is Ripley's Believe It or Not. Here's your weird fact. Blah, blah. They're just podcasts, bro. They're just short podcasts. So your dentist or whatever's in your niche doesn't need to have a 3-hour podcast. They can literally have a 2-minute podcast. Hey, let's figure out 365 dental tips, right? They can pay you to write them or come up with the ideas, which you can go to Fiverr or get a copywriter to do it. You can charge for that. It is an Alexa skill. Yep. You can also get your dentist on Alexa. That's a whole nother thing we can talk about. But you can have a copywriter come up with 365 ideas so that you can have a podcast a day that'll automatically upload. You can post them all at one time, set the date, boom, bang, pow. Yeah, you can podcast about your blog post. It is an Alexa skill that will allow you to, people can say, hey, a word, listen to such and such, and it'll play it. Or they can add it to their news brief. It's very simple to do. That's something that your dentist can do. And those are ways that they can stay current in their customers' mind. They can get more customers. They can build more loyal followers. Keep reminding customers, hey, time to get a teeth cleaning. Every 6 months, they can keep that door moving. It costs them little to nothing to have something that's going to play every single day. It is a component of your business where you can work it and talk to your niche about. Now, listen to me. This is something that you got to know. Listen to me. Where my graphic at? Where my graphic at? Right here. Boom. Okay. It is very important. It is very important that your niche, this is catered to your niche. You're not going to be able to talk to delivery truck drivers, dentists, construction workers, and real estate agents and be very successful on pushing a podcast or a bunch of content if you're all over the place. Trust me,
trust me, listen to me, look at me, look at my eye. You will make way more money and have a much better lifestyle if you focus on one type of client. I know it's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe. But if you focus on one type of client, magically, the doors on your car won't go up, they won't go out, they'll go up. They'll go up after a while. Focus on one client. Be the expert for that one type of client. You will know where to look to find them. It's just like if I was hunting squirrels. If take my friend that hunts everything. If I was a squirrel hunter, sounds like a dope name for a video game. I know where to look for squirrels. I know what time of year they come out. I know what they eat. I know what trees they like acorns from. I know where they bury their acorns. I know where they live. I know the tracks. I know how to put bait down for them. I know how to catch squirrels. I will have a basket full of squirrels. My friend that hunts everything, he don't know what type of weapon to use, what type of rifle. He probably got a fishing rod. He don't know whether he should be laying bait, putting cameras in trees, if he should be up. He don't know what to do. He just like, I'm here to catch anything. Anything, please run into my net. I'm going to shoot at everything. He's not going to be as successful as me, who is a squirrel hunter. In fact, I only hunt this particular breed of squirrel. I know the temperament. I know everything about this particular breed of squirrel. I know where to find them. This part of the country, I can look at a forest and determine where this is where they should be because the brush is set up like this and they like this amount of cover. Business works the exact same way. Often a lot of people show up with their camera and they're like, I hunt everything. And then they come on here and they ask, well, where can I find clients at? You hunt everything, bro. They everywhere. I don't know. If you're looking for a specific type of client, I can point you to that. So be a squirrel hunter. Sounds weird, but do it. Tell your people I'm a squirrel hunter. Stand up in your chair and scream, I hunt squirrels. I'm joking. But if you do it, record it so I can see the people around your face. And that is how you become successful. Now you're the expert squirrel hunter. Now when people want squirrel, they come to you and say, hey, I want squirrel. What should I do? Right now, you want to go down by the lake because it's 10:30 and the sun will shine off the water. The squirrels will come out to clean their acorns. That usually, you know everything. You can be successful at it. You can teach others how to do it. You know where to stand before they even pop out and run around. It's easy for you. But if you hunt everything, just because you got a rifle that can shoot anything, you're not going to be good at it. So pick a niche, double it down. Not only do you pick, like Josh, you said you're going after dentists in 2021. Cool. Provide a product for dentists. I do onboarding videos for dentists. Perfect. Do that. That's what I specialize in. Onboarding video for dentists. That's it. Now, I guarantee you when you get that client and they hire you to do onboarding for them and you create this video, now dentists, you can say, hey, we also do headshots, group shots. We can do a video for clients that are leaving who just went through a procedure. We do all kind of videos for dentists. We can do everything else you need. We specialize in onboard videos. However, we do it all for dentists because they're going to need other stuff. But if they find you and they trust you and you offer success to them, if you can create content for a client that makes them money, you will have a client for life. They will buy everything else from you, period. Everything else from you. So focus on that. Focus on that. If you go to a steakhouse and they can cook a good steak, you trust every side that's on that menu. You just order it. Let me get the mashed potatoes, the beans. Let me get what. You don't even care if the steak's good. You'll take everything else can be mediocre. If that steak is knocking, if that steak is the truth, you'll eat every side that they bring. Asparagus can be burnt up. Mashed potatoes can be watered. Macaroni and cheese can be bland. You just adding salt, eating that steak, adding salt. So keep in mind, pick a niche, Be the best in that niche. Build the experience in that niche. Offer things to your client. Again, if you are a onboarding dental video creator and you go to your dentist and say, "Hey, dentist, we've been working together for some time and we created this content that worked well for you." You say that you're getting great response. Enrollment is up by 20% because of your video. I think you should step into the world of podcasting. And they'll say, "Oh, I never thought about that." And what do I tell you every time a client say, "I never thought about that"? You got them. We may have to do that. Go over the stats, talk to them, tell them what they're missing, create it. So go on subscription base, client for life. There's another $5,000 to $8,000 a month coming in. Find another dentist and another dentist and another dentist. You get to the point where you got 5 dentists you're working with. Your company's bringing in $40,000 a month. You're delegating stuff to, uh, contractors or people that's working with you. Your life is easy. Business is easy. You're living good, and your doors go up instead of out. Your car don't run on gas no more. You plug it into the wall. A lot of things will change. You'll go from people bumping over your head to having rooms and having space. You go from walking up steps to get to your apartment to walking up a driveway after getting your mail. Things change. So it's something that I want you to be mindful of as you continue to grow in this journey of being a content creator. Get rid of that. I kind of want to do a video where it's filmmakers versus content creators, but it's too drastic for some people. And I don't feel like sometimes I have to cut comments off. Like anytime I do a video where about a Canon fanboys are just outrageous, bro. They are just bored. Canon makes the best. I'm like, all right, bro. Okay. I'm not gonna argue with you. If you think so, you buy it. It has a red stripe on it, so I know it's good. I'm like, okay. They put a red C on the side. It tells me it's perfect. Okay. So something to definitely think about. Podcasts are a way to reach more people. See, I reached 100,000 in all platforms now, Facebook and TikTok, and people are asking me to do Spotify. So I'm looking at how to get. Wait, did I skip it? Wait, let me go back up to it because it's not giving me. Okay, so I'm looking at how to get there. Go on Anchor, anchor.com. Are Canon folks really that bad? Yes. Membership video. This is not a gold member video. Those are on Thursdays. This is live for everybody. Everybody and their mama them. So just something to think about as you move along this journey. It doesn't require anything extra from you. It doesn't require you to learn anything extra. It's something that you can implement. It's something that if you have a client and your client trusts you and you provide the stats to show the results of what you're going to do or what podcasters are currently doing, it's an easy upsell on something that will benefit them and benefit you. So why not do it? Why not go for it? And that's something that, here, I didn't listen. I'm gonna tell you where this came from. It came from you. I wasn't thinking about doing a podcast. I had no intentions on doing a podcast. But people say, "Hey, Ty, we really love to listen to these while we work and drive and do this and do that." Hey, Ty, you ever thought about doing a podcast? And I was like, I don't know. I like listening to them, but I never thought about doing it. When will I have the time to do a podcast? That's what I was thinking. Sitting here with a roadcaster. So, I started doing research. I started looking at how I can implement this with my clients and started talking to my clients about it. Started getting subscription-based clients out of it. Clients wanted consistent work. It was perfect. So I'm passing that knowledge on to you. What do you mean as far as Give me a little more detail on what do you mean by which package? Filmmaker versus created video as a member video. Yeah, I could probably do that as a gold member video. The Poet Glass. I can do that. That because it's just I can probably do that. In short, I'll give you a short version of it while I have your attention. Remember how I said some content creators are stuck on being an artist more than they're stuck on being a business person, right? Some content creators just like, it's just about the art. I don't care about the money. Okay, cool. Scoot over. Like, that's cool. Be an artist, go decorate your corner, make it as beautiful as possible. Go do that. However, while you're being creative, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are projects that I do just to let that part out of me out. However, in this world, content is so valuable. It is so valuable. Content is probably one of the only things that you'll never run out of that you can create over and over again and keep making money. Like what else can you go in your room with your camera and make that'll be valuable when you come out the door? You can't do that with a lot of things. Name something else where you can show up with your camera, create something, and then make $1 million off of it for the next 50 to 100 years. There isn't a lot of things you can do that with. Some of the most valuable things in the world requires some type of major investment, digging for oil or, data. You got to get data from it. Like there's things that it's hard to come about. You can create something. You can create a video and post it on YouTube. It can go viral and make you a millionaire tomorrow from something that you filmed in your living room. Like, just think about that. Think about the power of that. Think about the power you possess as a content creator. I think often we don't think about it like that. We undervalue it because we're all walking around with cameras in our pocket. We undervalue it. We don't take into account the possibilities if we take it serious. It's just like YouTube. I know friends that post on YouTube all day and night. And I know friends who make a business out of it, who make millions on YouTube. They both post this, they both do the same amount of work. They just have different mindsets. They have different mindsets. Period. I know friends that post a ton of stuff to YouTube. We laugh and we joking. They don't make $1 off of it. I know people who make more money on YouTube than most people I know working. And they just have different mindsets. When you look in your viewfinder, have a different mindset. When you talk to that client, have a different mindset. Someone says, will it be a great idea to definitely something to talk about to my beta client about? Yes. You should use this with your beta client. Do short podcasts, short information or short podcasts that provides information. So they don't have to be, they don't sound dated. We can sit down and record 22-minute clips on ways to improve your hygiene. Hey, try to stay away from this type of deodorant, get that type, and we can do 20 of those and just release 2 a week or 1 a week. Podcast can be as little as 1 a week and you're good. 52 of them, we got the year covered. We can record that in 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours. How do you show the importance of video to a client? Big shout out to Parker. So while we answer his question, we're going to go back to his graphics because he's a beast. It's important that you know if you need graphics, that's your guy. That's not the right graphic though. My bad, Parker. I got you. They look similar. Okay. So there's a lot of ways to show value to your client when it comes to video. Now listen, depending on your niche, right? Because if you have somebody that's in a sales niche compared to somebody that's in a service niche, how you show value may differ. That's why I tell you, like these are things that if you work with everybody, you're never going to be good at it because it changes from person to person, right? The reason you bought a camera is different from why I bought a camera. That's probably why we own 2 different cameras. So when it comes to clients that want to see value in video, clients who are sales based will probably get high off stats. They'll probably get high off stats on its ability to turn more viewers into leads and things like that. They'll probably enjoy that more. Service-based, a little bit. But from my experience in niches that I've worked in, service-based industries enjoy stories a little more. They wanted to hear about how you helped a guy who had a tree trimming business go from 1 truck to 8 trucks because you created content for him that helped bring him business. They just care about stories a little more. That's just from my experience. You know what I mean? That's something that I've learned working in my industry, that when you get a beta client, they're going to tell you what's important to them. That's why I say get 3 different beta clients, because they'll tell you what's important to them. Then I'll use that information to gear my business up to attract them, right? If you've seen a girl that you like or a guy that you like, and you seen them in a library reading a book about psychology, if you want to get their attention, you better come to them with some little psychology. Oh, you're reading such and such by John Smith. That's a good book. That's the one where he talks about how to do this, that, and the other. And she's like, oh, you like this? Oh, I read them books all the time. I'm on such and such by such and such. I'm on the 4th chapter, you know. I did read that one. It's great, even though I probably read the Cliff Notes so I can have an intelligent conversation about it. It's the same thing with business. You go in and say, oh, we know. We deal with a lot of businesses like this and help them go from here to here. In fact, here's an example. In fact, here are 2 companies we work with. This is what we can do for you. All that builds value, especially when it comes to working with clients. That builds value. They want to go from, people buy content, or businesses buy content to go from one point A to point B, right? That's the point of it. If you can convince them that the journey is possible with your brand, they'll pay you for it, right? You give me your attention now because I provide you with valuable information within the niche of being a content creator, right? If you came on one day and I started reviewing beach balls, you wouldn't care. But because this is what I do, and this is what I like to talk about, and this is where my passion is, and you find value in it, you come back over and over. So that's the goal. Definitely helps to research a client before approaching. Got to sound intelligent and come across. You have to be intelligent. Business owners, if business owners aren't intelligent, they want to be appreciated as though they are intelligent. They don't want to be treated like they're dumb. I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. How dare you come in here and belittle me? No. You'll notice a pattern in the type of business owners that own certain businesses. Doctors, for me, are just hard to work with. I'm okay with working with them, but they're a little arrogant. Or orthodontists are a little arrogant when it comes to dentists. I'm not a dentist. I'm an orthodontist. Like, okay, bro, I'm sorry. Like, you got to know that, because if you come in there and call an ortho a dentist, he gonna be like, peace, bro, get out of here. I'm not a dentist. How dare you? We do ortho around here. So you have to know that, because you'll mess up your money calling an orthodontist a dentist. You'll have him on a hook. He'll be willing to spend $50,000 a month with you, and you'll call him a dentist one time, and you're out of there. You'll call one of his assistants a dental assistant one time, and you're gone. So what are some of the stats that video clients care about? Conversion rates. Depending on what they're selling. So I do have a few stats I'll give you. These come directly from the master course. So in 2020, video is the number 1 source of all information for 66% of people in the US. 2020, 93% of businesses gain new customers as a result of branded video content. Let me say that again. That's huge. 93% of businesses gain new customers as a result of branded video content. That's huge. That's huge. More than 75% of all video views come from mobile devices. So those are just little things that you can present to your client that will blow their mind. Call a filmmaker or photographer. You're right. Dentists are nice to talk to. Dentists are nicer to talk to than orthodontists. They are just mean, bro. I mean, they're not mean. You just got to know what you're dealing with. Like, I get it. After 12 years of school and $200,000 in student debt, I would be a little mean too. But they're getting. If you look at the money they make once you get in the inside, and you realize that every person in that chair with insurance is at least $2,000, and they got 8 chairs, and they're seeing each chair gets 22 people a day, you'll realize that they are making some bread. Eye doctors are just mind blowing. Eye doctors, because you go in there, there's 3 people in there looking at glasses. You don't think, like, how are y'all still open, bro? They are making bank. So they need content. They need a lot of photography. If you're a photographer, go talk. And you want to specialize in doing images, commercial images, lifestyle images for eye doctors, definitely consider it. Definitely consider it. It's something to definitely think about. All right. With that being said, we're going to get ready to wrap for today. Thursday Live, we may do a public one, Gold members. I got an idea. I got something I want to try, Gold members. This week, we got a pretty interesting one that's coming up. In fact, let me tell you exactly what that is. It's going to be, let me pull that up here real quick. I have 1 gigabyte internet, and sometimes it's just like, nah, bro. The highest internet available in my area, and it's like, Actually, the Thursday video is right on topic. It's called "How to Sell to Clients That Don't Know They Need Content." How to sell to clients that don't know they need content. It's gonna be a barn burner. It's gonna be a good one. Something to definitely think about. All right, guys. With that being said, I'm going to ask that you stay safe. Please hit that thumbs up button. Please hit it real quick. Make sure you go ahead. I'll give you a second. I'll give you 2 seconds to hit that thumbs up button. It's much appreciated. So make sure you guys tune in on that. If you haven't joined the text list, if you're missing them, if you're coming in late, if you don't know when they are, we do have a way to text you. That way you don't miss a thing. And stay safe. If wearing your mask is your thing, make sure you wear your mask. And I will see you guys definitely in the next video. We may drop some stuff between now and then too, so make sure that notification bell is on. All right. And also, Content and Cash is our podcast. If you search for Flash Film Academy or Content and Cash, you will find it. If you're listening on the podcast and you only listen on the podcast, go on YouTube and search for Flash Film Academy or go to flashfilmacademy.com. All right. I wish I had fiber optic. I need it. I got 1 gigabyte. It's like supposed to be super fast. The problem is they limit upload speeds. All right, guys. Y'all stay safe.